Good morning teacher, good morning everyone. My name is Brian Vega and in this video I'm going to explain one important topic, the role of descriptive and prescriptive approaches in the EFL teaching. Okay, let's start. In teaching English as a foreign language, descriptive and prescriptive approaches have played significant roles. While the prescriptive approach focuses on strict norms and grammatical rules, the descriptive approach observes and analyzes how language is actually used in various contexts. In this explanation, I'm going to explain about the difference, the descriptive approach and the prescriptive approach, and what is important in the English teaching as a foreign language. This approach is not only offer complementary perspectives on language acquisition, but also influence pedagogical practice. The first one, the role of the prescriptive approach in EFL teaching. The prescriptive approach in EFL teaching is based on teaching language according to established standards. This approach is particularly useful for students aiming to achieve proficiency in formal contexts, such as academic or professional English. In this approach, it's very important to keep in mind that the objective of this approach is to teach the base of the English, teach the rules, teach the grammar, the structures, because when I read this part, I think that this is very important because when you are learning English, you always have to learn the base of the English. For example, between you and I, that is a weak word, we use me as the preposition, not I. This is a rule. So there are many different structures, rules, bases that you must learn when you are learning English. But on the other hand, the role of the descriptive approach in the EFL teaching. The descriptive approach is focused on how language is actually used in real situations. This approach emphasizes the importance of effective communication even if the strict grammatical rules are not followed. So when I read this part, I thought the other approach was very important, but this approach it's very important too because I always thought that the base of the English or the importance of English is speaking in English, because when you speak in English you are learning more, you develop your English skills, and even if strict grammatical rules are not followed, because when you are making mistakes, it's normal because making mistakes is the base to learn more and improve your English skills. Because these two approaches, it's very important and very useful in the English teaching for an English language, as a foreign language, sorry. For example, here for some example for this approach, because in this approach there are idioms, there are variations, simplification, abbreviation of the words, of the sentences, and this is very useful when you are speaking with other person and you can develop your English skills. Change in teaching perception. So in this part, when I learned the both approaches, I had a perception. Reflecting on this approach has changed my perception in the EFL teaching. Previously, I prioritized the prescriptive approach, believing it was the best way to ensure students learn the correct English, because when you prioritize the prescriptive approach, you teach the student how to use the English. For in the other hand, the descriptive approach teach the student how to use the English in their real life, in the real context, because there are real variation, idiomatic expression, and this more balanced perspective recognizes that effective teaching should combine both approaches based on the student needs and goals. So my perception changed when I learned these two approaches. In conclusion, Descriptive and prescriptive approach in EFL teaching plays an important and complementary role. While the prescriptive approach provides a solid foundation in language norms, the descriptive approach fosters effective communication in a real context. Two approaches are very important in the teaching English, and I am like teachers in training. It's very useful when you are teaching the English to other person or other people. This reflection underscores the need for flexible student-centered pedagogical approach. In other words, two approaches it's very important when you are teaching English as a foreign language. That's all. Thank you so much. This is my presentation about this important topic. Thank you so much.